Hey, what's up? Welcome to Degen Ed. That's degenerative education, meaning none of this is financial advice. Just me having fun looking at charts like the chart behind me, which is of Palantir Technologies, ticker symbol PLTR. And so I did a video on this last Monday, just wanted to follow up on that. And I also wanted to point out that next Monday is earnings for Palantir. They report them in the afternoon at, 5 p.m. Eastern on the 5th. And I typically, like I said, do videos on Palantir on Mondays, but I'd be happy to do next week's on Sundays ahead of earnings, and I'd be happy to stream this webcast. So if you'd like to see that, let me know in the comments, and I'll consider doing it for next week. But for this video, I'm just going to expand upon what I went over last week. And so I should point out that on today, January 29th, which is a Monday, Palantir closed at a price of $17.09, being up just over 4.5% on the day and going up another 0.5% or 9 cents in the after hours. And so we can see that move here, this nice big green candle that followed 4 red candle days. And we can see that following last week's video on the 22nd, when we saw this inverted hammer or what would be a shooting star at the top of this big move up, we did then see a retracement to what looks like this uptrending level of support marked by this orange line. And so I have that marked based on these two touch points, the low of January 5th, as well as the low of last Friday, which was January 26th. And then right here with these 3 tails of candles, they just almost touch that orange line, but not quite. So it was a little precarious seeing the inverted hammer candle here on Friday last week. However, with that following these big moves down, that could suggest a reversal, and that is exactly what we saw on the day with the big move to the upside, 4.5%. And I should note that it did close just below this low on the day of December 29th, which had a low of $17.10 before gapping down. And I had previously marked that as a level to consider because it needed to be filled, but it was filled with this big candle coming down 3.3% on the day of Wednesday, January 24th. And and then also I did have another line at that level, but I did just remove them because I did this Fibonacci retracement last week. And so I just left those levels rather than the ones I had. I also had a line at $18, but the 382 of that Fibonacci lines up just about perfect with it at 1802. And that is the level that we got rejected at Monday last week when we did see the big move up. So I do think that is a pretty notable level to be paying attention to. Also, I do have the volume profile up here, and it does look like where we got rejected here was at the top of this volume shelf, and the current price looks like it's getting into a lot of volume here, where we see this consolidation that occurred between these two levels, the 236 and the 382 of that Fibonacci retracement. So I do think we are getting into a tough level to be breaking above. So it is quite possible that we will see a little bit of consolidation here before moving higher, and that would actually be a good thing. I do think that could be the sign of a bull flag forming before continuing higher. And if we did get some nice, solid, consistent horizontal consolidation here right before earnings, that could signal a move to break above this volume shelf, and perhaps following earnings next Monday, end up with a price above $18, using this level as support then to then make attempts at the higher levels, like the 50% retracement at 1876 or the 612 at right around $19.50. And then I also do have this yellow line marked at $20. We do see a notable volume shelf up there, so it is quite possible if price does rally up following earnings, it might get rejected around 20 before pulling back and ideally consolidating around 1950 before attempting the 786 at around $20.50. And before I close this video, I do want to throw up the weekly candles because I do think there is a pretty notable signal there, not for this week, because we only have Monday there, only one data point for this week, but from last week, we do see this big red candle over the course of that week, and that actually formed a bearish engulfing candle relative to the prior week, and so I do feel a little bit concerned that price will be getting rejected, will have a tough time breaking and holding above 1712 at the 236 here, this level that price is currently at. So I do think it might be retesting this orange uptrend as support. And if it can hold that before earnings, and I do see this volume shelf here, looking at it on this time frame, if it can hold above that level, which would be right around 1670, if it can hold above that, then I do think that could be a signal for a big move following earnings. However, we might get some resistance right around $17.40. But if we can break above, let's see, getting to 1780 when this volume, this consolidation starts to die down, 1780. If we can break above and hold above that level, get a couple closes above that, which we were not able to do in the last rally, I do think that could signal that we have some upside moves to be making, going up to around $20, but perhaps getting rejected at this volume shelf around 1930, 1940. So do keep those levels in mind and let me know in the comments if you would like me to stream next week's earnings, and I will do a video on Palantir on Sunday before earnings rather than Monday after the close. Thanks a lot for watching.